What's up? It's Dr. William James here reporting to you guys live. And wanted to talk today about, firstly, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. When I'm done with the video, you can like, comment, share the video. But first thing you do, click the subscribe button right now if you haven't. If you don't click the subscribe button, think about why you're not clicking subscribe. All right, it doesn't cost you anything to click subscribe. I'm trying to build the channel. I talk about topics that are serious issues, especially in our society, and they need to be addressed. So I feel like it's great to have healthy conversation and, build up the discussion around these topics. So today I want to address Dwayne Wade and his son, who he now identifies as his daughter. So it shouldn't take too long, but it's just a few things that I want to address. There was a new picture I saw online. It went viral a couple days ago with Dwayne Wade's son, who identifies as a girl, even though he's not a girl. Again, I like to be objective. There's a definition. If you look up the definition for girl, as much as people try to separate gender and sex, they try to say that gender is a part of society's roles and the norms we've associated. It's just a role. It's not scientific. And then they say that sex is male and female, while gender could be girl, boy, or man and woman, and sex is male, female, is scientific. There's something behind it. If you look up the definition for girl, it's going to say adolescent female. If you look up the definition for woman, it's going to say adult female. If you look up the definition for boy, you will see adolescent male. If you look up the definition for man, you'll see several definitions, which could stand for just mankind, but you'll see adult male. So what you identify as and what you actually are, objectively speaking, are two different things. And his son is a boy. I'm not going to even get into, like, if someone were to get a sex change or anything like that. That's not something you can change because we're internally made differently. Females have a Bartholin gland. Females have a Bartholin gland. Males have a Bartholin gland. Things like that will not change. The only thing that they will change is something outwardly to make it look more aesthetically like a penis or more like a vagina, but it will not function like a penis or function like a vagina. So he's had his son, and his son is getting to a point now where the picture I saw, it's almost like it's so disturbing because he's 14 and it's on the borderline of child porn. If you look up the definition for child porn, again, objectively speaking, it will say child exploitation, something that's explicit, things of that nature. Explicit is something that's not vague, it's clear what's going on. Now, in the picture, his son, who identifies as a girl, is kissing a girl who identifies as a boy. Never mind, their sexual identity or sexual preference. They're 14, and it's completely unacceptable. It's borderline child porn. They're clearly kissing. and it's for exploitation. Someone is told them to kiss so that they can post this picture online, which should be disturbing. But we're getting so far out of touch as a society that things like this are becoming acceptable, and people are cheering it on. People are saying it's a beautiful thing. Let your child show their love. They're 14 years old. At 14, you should be going behind a tree to try to sneak in a kiss, get your kiss, whatever you're trying to do. There's no way any parents, any adults should be okaying some 14-year-olds to just kiss and make out in front of them. Completely absurd. Let me know what you think in the comments. I feel it's completely absurd. I wouldn't care if it was my son or my daughter. You're not making out in front of me. I don't want to see you kissing anyone. You know? That's the problem now. We have kids being, sex is pushed on them too young. You got kids having kids. Kids are 13, 14, 15 years old and they're pregnant, having children. It's too much, over-sexualized. And it's a part of the agenda. Okay? Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, you know, they're getting a lot of clout off of how their son, well, it's Gabrielle Union's stepchild, but how Dwayne Wade's son identifies. You know, a couple years back, they had a photo shoot talking about allowing her to reintroduce herself. It's a whole bunch of things that are taking place now. And it's pretty ridiculous. But what stuck out to me a lot is that I saw a clip of Dwayne Wade saying that he doesn't lead his household.
It's not the man leads and the woman follows. That's not what we live in this house, you know, at all. So for me, I have a wife that works just.
And it's very telling to me why certain things are turning out the way they do in his household. Because as the man, you should lead, especially with a man who has his income and a man of his stature. We don't have the type of male figures. You don't see it as often, the type of male figures we used to see. Like with the man outside working on the car, or the man chopping lumber, things like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
In the old school, Dwayne Wade is, you know, painting his toenails and wearing ankle bracelets and several feminine things. It's like he's completely emasculated, and it's transferred down to his son. Now, I know he has several children, and he has, I think his son's name is Zaire, who's following in his footsteps. And the younger son, who's 14, who identifies as Zaya now, it really just doesn't even make sense, because I don't understand. Like, it's a whole big contradiction within the trans community a lot of the times with things that they do. They say there are no roles and like gender is fluid and things like that. But if he was going to identify as a girl, why did he need to change his name then? Your name doesn't make you your sex or your gender. I know men who are named Stacy. I know men who are named Ashley. I know men with all types of, feminine names that are associated with feminine, with women or girls, but they're still men. Just like I know some girls who have, masculine names or names that are associated with men. All right. I know a girl named Bob. So why would you have to change your name just because of, how you identify? So that right there would mean that you do identify that there are certain things that are associated with masculine and feminine. And it's not just roles. All right, because that's a name. That has nothing to do with a role. And the same thing like with Bruce Jenner. When he became Caitlyn Jenner, he changed his name from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner. As if your name has to do with your sex or your gender. What if, according to them, it shouldn't. And then he put on wigs. He started wearing wigs and makeup and high heels. A woman is a woman, whether she's wearing makeup, whether she's wearing a wig, whether she's wearing high heels. She's still a woman. So just things like that, that sort of just like, it's contradictory. It's hypocritical is what it is. But the whole thing with Dwayne Wade saying that, you know, there's no leaders in this household and all of this stuff and what Gabrielle Union does, it just brought me back to this. This is why his household looks the way it is. Similar to Will Smith. Will Smith isn't leading his household. He's emasculated. You see how his children are. It was weird in their household. I remember I posted a picture a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago, about how Willow Smith was a teenager and she was laying down with in bed with some adult actor. Just completely inappropriate. I don't care where the parents were. It's completely inappropriate. She was a teenager. There was an adult actor in a bed with her. It's just like, these are the type of people who are leading us into like demonic territory, where the boundaries are being crossed and they're trying to normalize it. And I spoke about it in one of my other videos of how there's a slow process of getting you to accept everything and getting you to accept the normalization of things that should not be normalized. The second that they can get you to think outside of science and reality, they can get you to accept anything. If they can get you to call a woman a man a woman, or a male a female and a female a male, they can get you accepting that. The next thing to get you to accept is things like lowering the age of consent and all of the things that they're trying to do. Because now you hear a lot of speech about, they called it, what do they call it? Childism.
I let them be what they are, which is a toddler.
Say you offer structure. What could be more of a structure than actually saying to your child, this is your name and that's your name? And if when you get to be an adult, you want to change your name, then you become your own adult, your own responsibility. You take your own decisions. Part of being a parent is until a child reaches adult age, actually the parent takes these decisions. What are you doing as a parent?
But I guess
as a parent, you're saying just get on with it.
My opinion is that I feel that what you're expressing is a bit of childism, which is assuming that someone has to be a legal adult to have the capacity to know themselves.
Childism is a new
and
one.
And they try to say you're taking away a child's voice. A child is a child. They have a voice, but their opinion, their children are to be led by adults. That's scary. As an adult, when you have a child, you are to lead your children. Your children do not lead you. You lead your children. You tell them right from wrong. You know, you tell them what's best for them. You know what's best for them. You've lived the experience. Yes, they can have their input, but they can't overrule you. Especially at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. All right, these are children who can't even fend for themselves. They can't feed themselves, clothe themselves. You're talking about kids who can't even wipe their own backside. And you're sitting up there letting them decide their sex, their gender. They shouldn't even be picking out their own clothes yet. Yeah. So that's just what I feel. Just wanted to put this out there real quickly. You can like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Let me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe. Peace and love.